A devastating effect of narcissistic abuse victims experience is shutting down and being paralyzed with fear when faced with even minor issues, and sometimes for no apparent reason at all, leaving you unable to function normally or even able to get out of bed. Let's dive into how narcissistic abuse rewires your brain that's causing these incapacitating fear responses. Make sure you stay to the end, where I give practical tips on helping you heal from this overwhelming effect. It may not feel like it, but your brilliant brain hasn't gone rogue and is out to sabotage you. It's on a desperate mission to protect you. See, normally we tackle stress and problems with our prefrontal cortex, the brain's CEO and mastermind that analyzes problems, finds solutions, and stops you from doing stupid things, like trying to high-five a grizzly bear. But our brain CEO has a limit to the amount of stress it can deal with before it declares we are in imminent danger and takes a coffee break, causing your midbrain to jump in with one of 4 automatic emergency responses, a survival mode borrowed from our ancestors. You may have heard of these responses. They are fight, flight, fawn, and freeze. This is important, so remember it for later. These are automatic and, most of the time, beyond your control. They are meant to be triggered when faced with a sudden danger where our powerful but slow CEO does not have the ability to deal with a situation. But they can also be triggered when we are overloaded with stress. These responses are based on your beliefs, experiences, and the situation you are in to give you a lightning-fast response meant only to take you out of imminent danger. The catch? Sometimes your brain misreads the situation and uses the wrong response. And sometimes the danger does not go away, leaving you stuck in an emergency response with your brain CEO on a coffee break. Picture this. You're wandering in the woods and a bear appears in the distance. Instinctively you freeze, hoping the scary-looking bear will wander off without noticing you. Here, a freezing response could save your life. But the bear sees you and charges. Your legs kick into flight mode and you flee. Now a fleeing response could potentially save your life. But the bear catches up to you and attacks you. How do you respond? If armed, you may automatically fight back. Now a fighting response could potentially save your life. No weapons? You automatically fawn and try to appear dead and not a threat to the bear. Now a fawning response could save your life. However, without experience or with the wrong beliefs, you may have automatically reacted with a flight response from the start and continued with trying to flee even when the bear attacks you, possibly turning a harmless situation into a dire one. Because at that moment, with the limited experience and information you had, it was what your brain thought was the best way to react. Because your brain continuously learns, which is essentially rewiring itself, your automatic responses can be rewired. A city person with a wrong automatic response or flight can be trained to respond differently, which can drastically increase their chances of a positive bear encounter, although they may still need to change their underwear. However, narcissists use the same rewiring feature of your brain, called neuroplasticity, and use it against you with coercive control, which I covered in a previous video. See a link in the description. All narcissists share a common goal: control and domination over those around them. Whether overt or covert, their tactics may differ, but the core principle remains constant. If they don't get their way, or if you dare question their authority, consequences follow. It could be verbal or physical abuse, breaking your stuff, harming your loved ones, withholding money or food, refusing that you sleep, threatening to leave you, silent treatment, and so on. This relentless punishment and abuse plunge you into a world of stress and fear, where every step feels like walking on broken glass, pushing you to the edge of stress overload. You are being conditioned that if you react with a fight response and stand up for yourself, then you will be punished even more. Your instinct to fight is systematically beaten or frightened out of you. Rewiring your brain to believe that the safest response to danger or overwhelming stress is to automatically slip into freeze response and do nothing, or fawn response where you try to appease the narcissist. This is because when you respond in these two ways, the narcissist feels in control again and backs off, removing the stress on you, allowing your brain CEO to come back from its coffee break and you being able to function again. Most of the time, victims refuse to stop fighting back and giving control over to the narcissist quickly enough according to the narcissist, which is often the case when the narcissist is a covert narcissist, as they do not use violence that often to frighten the victim. The narcissist will then incorporate emotional and psychological tactics to break down your self-esteem and self-confidence, which will reduce your will to fight back. This is done through repeatedly degrading and dehumanizing you, constantly putting you down, calling you degrading names, dismissing your accomplishments, gaslighting, triangulation, and using other tactics to break you down. No matter how mentally or physically strong you are, with enough time, the narcissist will wear you down and break your spirit. The narcissist can then rewire your brain to no longer respond automatically with a fight response. The constant stress you are put under may make it difficult for you to deal with conflict, even in movies, and loud voices or noises may trigger a fear response in you. You may also become hyper-focused to danger that can cause you to read situations wrong and see danger where there are none. This will considerably increase the stress and anxiety you are experiencing. If you left the narcissist, the stress you experience will often be higher, as you now may need to take care of yourself. With added stress on finances, transport, and housing, the narcissist may also make leaving them as difficult as possible for you, possibly stalking you and slandering your name. A minor thing, such as forgetting to pay the rent on time, can then in your mind spiral out of control, where you envision being kicked out of your rental place. This can push you into stress overload, where your automatic response is to freeze. Instead of fixing the issue by just paying the rent, you may be paralyzed from fear, as freezing is what your brain thinks is the best solution to deal with this stress overload. 2 days later, the situation has deteriorated so much in your mind that you may be convinced it is too late now, as your brain is so deeply programmed that the only response to stress or danger is to freeze or fawn. This may cause another stress overload, and your mind responds with a freezing response, even worse than the first, in an attempt to reduce the stress. Now, normally, when you responded with a freezing or fawn response, the narcissist sensed they gained control and backed off, removing the stressor. But in this case, the stressor is not removed because you have not paid the rent, causing things to quickly spiral out of control, with your mind just pushing the freeze response harder and harder in a desperate attempt to fix things until you lie paralyzed from fear in your bed, unable to even lift your head. This can be very confusing, as you know you should just pay the rent, but you just cannot do it and feel your brain is trying to sabotage you, while in fact your brain is trying to save you. It just has the wrong response for the situation. What you need is a fight response where you take action and just go and pay the rent. But that response has been beaten or frightened out of you. But the ordeal does not stop there. The barrage of abusive incidents experienced with narcissistic abuse can lead to PTSD or even complex PTSD. Picture this. You're triggered by something, not even sure what, and bam, intense fear grips you. Your stomach tightens, your jaw clenches up, and you find yourself curled up in bed for hours or days, paralyzed by an invisible force. It's a storm you can't predict, and it hits hard. The impact can be so severe that the mere thought of tackling the smallest task can render you paralyzed with fear, making the prospect of holding a job incredibly challenging or downright impossible. Going out in public can seem like torture. This turmoil can turn your life into a dumpster fire of fear, leading to coping mechanisms like overeating, drugs, alcohol, gambling, or shopping in a desperate attempt to suppress the overwhelming negative emotions. Yet, another devastating aftermath of narcissistic abuse is its power to transform your mind into a fixed one, stripping away the empowering growth mindset you once had. A growth mindset thrives on the belief that even if you stumble now or erred in the past, you have a capacity to learn and improve over time. However, narcissists shatter this belief system, convincing you that change is impossible, that you can never measure up. By relentlessly putting you down and constantly shifting the goalpost, they cultivate a sense of worthlessness and stagnation within you. The result? You surrender to the notion that you're inherently flawed and incapable of change, rendering life seemingly devoid of purpose. To break free from this harrowing cycle, you must rewire your automatic response, shifting it from freeze or fawn to a resilient fight mode, enabling you to take action when confronted with decisions or tasks, even if under stress. It's crucial to reconstruct your self-worth, fostering the belief that you deserve love, respect, and basic decency in your life. Rebuilding self-confidence is the key to realizing your ability to navigate life's challenges, diminishing the power of unforeseen events to overwhelm you. This journey demands time, with many survivors attesting to substantial changes only after a couple of years. Cutting ties with a narcissist is a significant step, as maintaining contact risks sabotage of your healing efforts. Seeking professional help or joining a support group can expedite the healing process, especially if leaving the narcissist immediately is not feasible. For those facing limitations in accessing external support, here are some practical steps to initiate the healing process. To rebuild your automatic response, consistent action is key. Even if you find yourself paralyzed with fear in bed, begin by reassuring yourself, I am safe in this moment. Simultaneously, communicate with your body that the freeze or fawn response is no longer beneficial. Break down tasks into their simplest components. For instance, if a challenge is getting out of bed, the initial step could be sitting upright. If personal hygiene feels overwhelming, start with a small task like brushing your teeth. Celebrate these accomplishments, as the brain responds similarly to both stress and joy, and celebrating a small win confuses your mind, signaling safety and reducing fear. Tackling larger tasks, like doing your taxes, can be approached by taking incremental steps. Begin by placing your payslip on the desk, allowing yourself time to be desensitized to its presence, gradually building to the next step, such as opening your laptop to fill in the tax form or placing it next to your payslip to become accustomed to its sight. The primary goal is not solely task completion at this point, but to rewire your brain toward an action or fight response. Consistently taking small actions when faced with stress or decisions aids in this rewiring process. Confidence is a crucial asset when facing the unknown, and it manifests in two forms, external and internal. External confidence stems from the assurance that there are people willing to support you if you stumble. Narcissists often undermine this by isolating you from friends or family. To rebuild external confidence, seek support groups, reconnect with friends or family, or venture into new social circles through hobbies or activities. Internal confidence, on the other hand, comes from believing in your ability to handle unforeseen situations and tasks. While repetitive tasks build task-specific confidence, cultivating a growth mindset is essential for dealing with the unexpected. By embracing challenges like learning to scuba dive, dancing, taking cooking classes, or other activities that challenge you, you build confidence that you can learn new skills and knowledge, creating a growth mindset. It's impossible to know everything or predict every curveball life could throw at you. With a growth mindset, you know that even if you do not have the skills or knowledge now to deal with possible future problems, you have the ability to learn them and deal with whatever you may face. This mindset allows you to approach setbacks not as catastrophes, but as opportunities to learn your skills and further understand yourself. This mindset is precisely what narcissists attempt to break down by convincing you that you are worthless and incapable of change. Self-esteem, encompassing self-worth, reflects how you perceive and think about yourself. Narcissists often undermine this by belittling your achievements and fostering a constant sense of inadequacy. Overcoming this requires evicting the narcissist from your thoughts and breaking the cycle of seeking their validation. Remember, their opinion is just one among billions. Reflect on your life and recognize achievements that hold personal significance. Understand that value is subjective. Finishing 8th grade might mean more to someone with a challenging background. Consider your first job, securing your first apartment, or instances where you made a positive impact on others. Recognizing your past accomplishments gives you a sense of value and boosts your self-esteem. Now, the challenging part is acknowledging your future value. It's common to dwell on past mistakes and feel you should be in a different place. However, dwelling on should-haves can overshadow what you have accomplished and what you now have. Accept your current situation and envision what success looks like for you based on your current circumstances. 6 months, a year, and 5 years into the future. Maybe success in 6 months is prioritizing self-care, while in a year from now it could involve securing a job or having a financial milestone like $500 in your bank account. Try doing activities that add value to your life and others, whether it's completing studies, doing volunteer work, or enhancing your own well-being so you can help others. Setting goals can give you a powerful drive to take action. However, without values, you have nothing to guide your actions. Being clear on your values will guide you to make the right decisions, especially when under stress. A value could be, I don't allow people to abuse me or my boundaries. Another could be, I don't allow people to dictate my life or career choice. A good value to have is, I don't interact with people who repeatedly hurt me, make me feel unsafe, or drag down my happiness and success. Goals and values work together. For instance, if one of your values is healthy living, a related goal might be to exercise regularly or maintain a balanced diet. Together, values and goals form a dynamic interplay. Your values influence the type of goals you set, and your goals, when aligned with your values, contribute to a meaningful and purposeful life. Learn more about narcissism by watching the video suggested to you right now.